Okay, let's unpack this then. Have you ever, really paused to think about the games we played as kids? Not just as, simple fun, but maybe as these profound blueprints for understanding ourselves and honestly, maybe even the universe.
Hmm.
It's just so easy to file them away, isn't it? Childhood memories, sweet, maybe a bit trivial. But what if those games, those seemingly innocent activities, held something much deeper, like foundational truths about how we interact with the world?
And who we are, yeah.
Exactly. What if they were actually laying the groundwork for, well, everything that came after?
Well, what's truly fascinating here, and this is what our sources really get into brilliantly, is just how universal, how utterly fundamental the game of hide and seek actually is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just something you find across cultures, though it is. It pops up right at the earliest developmental stages. We're talking infancy,
Yeah.
really. Today, we're drawing from two really insightful sources, Part 1 and 2 of Hide and Seek from the Walk of Life podcast. And these aren't just, light chats about a game. They're deep explorations that honestly might make you rethink everything you thought you knew about hide and seek.
Really?
Yeah, they peel back the layers and reveal something, well, pretty astonishing underneath.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive then is to explore how hide and seek isn't just a game kids play in the park, but as our sources actually describe it, it's potentially the play of the universe itself.
Mm-hmm. That's the phrase.
Which sounds huge. This simple game, deeply connected to how we form our identity, how our memories work, those mysterious processes, and maybe even the fundamental nature of reality, and get this, scientific discovery too.
Right.
So yeah, prepare for some aha moments, I think. We're about to show just how intertwined this basic human activity is with, well, the fabric of our being, our understanding of existence.
Yeah. It's a journey from the nursery to the cosmos, in a way.
I like that.
Absolutely. We'll try to connect the dots meticulously, trace this influence from the earliest, the most basic forms of play in infancy,
Mm.
right through to the really sophisticated processes of self-knowledge that, define us as adults, and even ultimately to humanity's big quest, the relentless pursuit of universal laws.
Wow.
So our aim is really to illuminate how these profound intuitions, the ones fostered by this game, are just so deeply embedded in who we are and how we make sense of the world around us. We want to uncover that sort of consistent underlying pattern, the one that shapes our perception, drives our curiosity, and, yeah, ultimately leads to discovery.
Think about it for a second. This isn't just a game for the playground or, for 5-year-olds, is it?
Not at all.
Our sources tell us, pretty emphatically actually, that it's the more universal of games, something we literally do when we are in the crib, when we are babies. It's almost like it's this innate thing, right? A kind of primal program woven right into our earliest experiences. You don't need instructions, do you? Or a complex rule book. That fundamental instinct to hide and then to search. It seems almost hardwired.
It really does. It emerges so organically as we just start interacting with the world.
Yeah. It's like the spontaneous, joyful dance, isn't it? Presence and absence. And maybe that's our very first grasp of how the world even works, a fundamental rhythm.
Precisely. And that highlights its extraordinarily deep roots in our development. It really suggests it's not just something we, learn culturally,
Yeah.
but maybe it's an intrinsic activity, something that serves a critical function in these fundamental cognitive processes.
Yeah. What specifically?
Well, consider peekaboo, that simple but totally universal, joyous interaction with an infant.
Right. Everyone knows peekaboo.
Exactly. The adult covers their face,
Right.
Creates that little moment of playful suspense,
Right.
then boom,
Yeah.
reveals it. And you get those amazing giggles and squeals.
The best sound.
It is. But it's not just entertainment, though it definitely is fun. It's actually a crucial formative lesson. For the baby, that momentary disappearance and then the reappearance, it's actively teaching them about object permanence.
Okay. The idea that things still exist even when you can't see them.
Exactly that. It's a massive step in grasping a stable reality.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it's also about understanding the presence of others.
Yeah.
Knowing they're still there, even when they're momentarily out of sight.
Yeah.
That builds the bedrock of, social understanding, trust, attachment.
So much packed into hiding your face for a second.
Totally. The anticipation, the surprise, that huge relief when the familiar face comes back, all those elements are like miniature, joyful lessons. Lessons in the persistence of reality, the reliability of relationships, and the very structure of expecting something and having it fulfilled.
It really is incredible how much is going on there. And you mentioned our sources go even further. They call hide and seek the most fundamental of games and even basically the play of the universe. Now, that is a huge claim. Almost staggering, really. We're talking about a game played with, blankets and giggles,
Yeah.
being elevated to a cosmic principle, an elemental force shaping
It
existence.
sounds grand, doesn't it?
It does. How can just hiding and finding connect to something so vast? What does that really imply about, I don't know, the nature of reality, the fabric of existence?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is there some kind of secret underlying language the universe speaks?
Yeah.
And maybe hide and seek, in its purest form, is one of its most basic phrases.
Hmm.
Well, if we really try to connect this to the bigger picture, the idea that hide and seek is the play of the universe, it suggests that the actual dynamics of existence, that ebb and flow of appearance and disappearance, of revelation and concealment, maybe those aren't just human ideas. Maybe they're fundamental patterns within the cosmos.
Okay, like how?
Think about it. Stars are born in these hidden, cloaked nebulae, right? Then they
Yeah.
burn brightly,
Yeah.
and eventually they fade from visible light, maybe become a hidden black hole.
Right, hidden.
Planets form from cosmic dust, obscured for ages, then revealed through our telescopes. Even down at the quantum level, particles seem to flicker into and out of existence, often staying hidden until we observe them.
Okay, I see the pattern.
And, crucially, think about scientific laws themselves. They aren't just laid bare for us, are they? They're concealed, latent within the universe's mechanics. Until, diligent inquiry, persistent observation, rigorous experiments bring them to light.
So the universe is basically playing hide and seek with its own rules.
In a manner of speaking, yes. It's not just a charming metaphor. It suggests the universe itself operates on these principles of what's manifest and what's latent, what's seen and what's unseen. And our game of hide and seek is like a tiny intuitive reflection of that grander rhythm. It prompts us to look beyond the immediate.
So what does this connection mean for us personally? Does it suggest that deep down this game resonates so strongly because it mirrors something essential? Not just about being human, but maybe about reality itself. Like we're somehow hardwired to understand the universe through this playful, seeking lens.
That could be part of it.
It feels like it's not just a game, but this profound, maybe unconscious nod to the perpetual ebb and flow of everything. From like tiny interactions to huge cosmic events.
It's a deeply ingrained way for us to intuitively grasp that there's always more beneath the surface, isn't it? More than what we immediately see.
Yeah, it's an invitation to keep looking.
Exactly. And by elevating this seemingly simple game to such a powerful metaphor for cosmic processes, it naturally sparks our curiosity about these grander themes, these philosophical questions.
Hmm.
It nudges us to consider that the patterns we instinctively play with as kids are echoed, sometimes dramatically, in the vastness of the universe.
Hmm.
This perspective encourages us to actively look for the hidden within the apparent, to consistently question what's really beneath the surface. It's a powerful reminder that play isn't just trivial kid stuff. It's a fundamental lifelong way we engage with, interpret, and ultimately make sense of reality itself.
It's a constant process of discovery.
Right.
Okay, so here's where it gets, I think, really interesting and quite personal, too. Our sources make this compelling argument that this simple game is deeply, inextricably interwoven with our formations of identity.
Mm-hmm.
How does hiding behind a curtain fundamentally shape who we become? It seems so simple on the surface.
But the implications are huge.
Yeah, for our sense of self, for answering that big question, who am I, it feels profound.
It's not just about where to hide, is it? It's about those deeper questions. Who are you when you're hidden, unseen, unknown? And then who are you when you're found, revealed, affirmed? It's this constant negotiation of self-presentation.
Right.
Well, the very act of hiding and seeking, of revealing and concealing, it directly mirrors the ongoing dynamic development of our sense of self. From really early childhood, we start to learn we can be seen or unseen, present or absent. And crucially, that these states really influence how others see us, and then in turn, how we see ourselves. Well, when a child hides, they enter this unique state,
Right.
a kind of self-contained awareness, a quiet confidence that they still exist even when others can't see them.
Ah, okay.
There's a beginning of understanding an inner world, separate from what people see on the outside. Then, when they're found, they re-enter the social world. They get that vital feedback, the laughter, the affirmation, the relief of connection. All of that affirms their presence, strengthens their sense of being a distinct, valued individual.
So it's a foundational lesson in self-awareness.
Totally. The choice to hide or reveal, that delicious anticipation of being found, it contributes significantly to understanding yourself as unique, distinct, It helps us see ourselves as separate, independent beings with some control over our visibility and how we interact.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. And these dynamics, appearing and disappearing, seen, unseen, the sources also explicitly connect them to our masks.
Yes, the masks.
What kind of masks are we talking about here? It's obviously not like actual Halloween masks, right?
No, no, definitely not literal masks.
Yeah. It sounds more subtle, more ingrained in our daily lives. And how do these masks relate to what the sources call our narrative processes? What does that mean?
Right, so these are metaphorical masks. The psychological fronts, the social personas we present, our identities are, largely built on the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and the stories we present to others.
Okay.
So the masks refer to the different roles we adopt. The specific aspects of ourselves we choose, often strategically, to present or maybe withhold in different social contexts.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about how you might present yourself at work. Maybe there's a mask of professional composure, efficiency, maybe even seriousness. Even if, secretly you're feeling overwhelmed or maybe even a bit silly that day.
Right. The work persona.
Compare that to the mask you might completely shed when you're with your closest friends or family, revealing a more vulnerable side perhaps, more uninhibited or sillier.
Yeah, totally different.
The game's structure itself, where you're one persona when hidden, sort of unseen, introspective, and another when found, suddenly social, interactive, responsive. It's like a constant unconscious rehearsal for building and rebuilding these personal narratives. It teaches us about the fluidity of identity, the art of self-presentation, and that ongoing work of managing how we're perceived.
It's like we're directing our own movie.
Exactly. It's a continuous, active process of editing and presenting our story, selecting which bits to bring forward, which to keep back, shaping our own personal epic as we go.
So it really comes down to self-perception and how we actively craft these stories. Like we're constantly editing our own life screenplay.
Yeah, we're not just the lead actor.
But also the director, the editor, carefully choosing what the audience sees. And that curation, that skill is learned way back in childhood through play.
Absolutely. This ties directly into how we perceive ourselves, and maybe more importantly, how we strategically craft and share our personal narratives. We learned very early on to curate our identity, to present versions of ourselves that feel authentic, sure, but also appropriate or maybe even desired in different situations. This intricate, lifelong dance of revelation and concealment, practiced so innocently in hide and seek, it matures into this sophisticated psychological tool for navigating complex social life, managing reputations, and maintaining a coherent, adaptable sense of self.
It's an ongoing creative act of defining ourselves.
Precisely.
Okay, so if hide and seek is so fundamental about building identity and shaping our stories, it must logically have a huge impact on how we form and, crucially, retrieve our memories.
It seems unavoidable.
It really feels like memory itself is a kind of hide and seek game played out inside our minds. We're constantly searching, aren't we? Sifting through layers for those specific moments, elusive facts, half-forgotten feelings.
Things tucked away just out of reach.
Exactly.
Precisely. Our sources indicate that these narrative processes, the ones we use to build our identities, are deeply, intimately related to how we construct deep memories and especially how we recall them. The very act of searching for a memory, or that sudden, vivid feeling of a memory just appearing to us, it mirrors the game's mechanics in a really striking way.
Yeah.
Memories aren't just passively stored, like files in a cabinet waiting to be pulled out. They're often actively found or rediscovered, almost like a hidden object. And often they bring back this rush of forgotten feelings, sensory details, maybe even insights.
That feeling when you know it's in there somewhere.
Exactly. When you try really hard to recall a specific event from years ago, it often feels like you're on an internal quest, right? Actively seeking it out, piecing fragments together, following little clues, until the full picture, or a big part of it, suddenly reveals itself.
Yeah, it pops into your head.
This really highlights the active, dynamic, often reconstructive nature of memory retrieval. It's not like pulling a book off a shelf. It's more like a quest to find something, exists but isn't immediately visible or fully formed. It's a constant internal treasure hunt.
That's a really vivid analogy. Our sources also mention a compelling connection to psychological remembrances and oblivion. What's the interplay there between what we actively remember, what we vividly recall, and what we maybe subconsciously just let slip into oblivion? It sounds like a delicate balance.
It's a psychological game of give and take, yeah.
Yeah.
This point really highlights that dynamic, often tension-filled interplay in our minds,
Mm.
the things we actively hold on to and remember, versus that vast reservoir of experiences that just seem to fade into what we call oblivion. Hide and seek, through its basic cycles of being present and then absent, familiarizes us from a really early age with this profound idea. Something can still exist even when it's not immediately accessible to our conscious awareness.
Ah, okay. So forgetting isn't always permanent.
Exactly. It instills in us this fundamental understanding of the mind that forgetting is often not absolute or permanent. It's more like a temporary state. Things can be brought back into consciousness given the right trigger or maybe enough effort.
Like when a smell suddenly brings back a whole childhood scene.
Precisely. Consider how a long-forgotten childhood memory can just resurface with astonishing clarity, years, even decades later. Triggered by a scent, like you said, or a song, or maybe a chance encounter that somehow reignites a dormant neural pathway. That memory wasn't truly gone or erased. It was just hidden in the vast landscape of our minds, patiently waiting for the right clue to be found again.
Hmm.
This experience, rooted so deeply in that hide-and-seek dynamic, gives us an intuitive, lived understanding of the complex, fluid, and often surprising nature of our own memory system.
And this next line really jumped out at me. Gaining access to playful memories can unveil aspects of ourselves that we thought to be dead.
It's powerful, isn't it?
Incredibly. Like a form of self-resurrection or something. What does that mean for us, the listener, in a tangible way? Can remembering a childhood game genuinely bring back parts of us we've lost?
Well, it raises a really important and, I think, often overlooked question. How often do we, as adults, maybe inadvertently, bury parts of ourselves,
Mm.
past passions, forgotten talents, dormant desires,
Yeah.
thinking they're gone forever, lost to time or responsibility?
That happens all the time.
Or maybe it was a childhood love for painting, or a knack for storytelling, or a deep fascination with stars that you just set aside when adult life took over.
Mm-hmm.
Our sources suggest that actively recalling those genuinely playful moments from childhood, especially those linked to the immersive fun of hide and seek, can act as a powerful catalyst.
How?
It can unearth forgotten attitudes, reignite dormant desires, or reconnect us with core aspects of our identity that we simply put aside, maybe for practical reasons, but never truly lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally about finding a hidden part of yourself that's been tucked away, bringing it back into the light of your awareness, and maybe reintegrating it into who you are now.
That sounds incredibly therapeutic.
It can be profoundly therapeutic and transformative.
Mm-hmm.
It can lead to unexpected personal growth, the exciting rediscovery of latent talents or interests that could really enrich our present lives. It's a poignant reminder, I think, that our past selves aren't entirely gone. They're just waiting to be found again, maybe hiding in a different spot within the labyrinth of our being.
Okay, so if this game is so deeply about identity and memory, our sources also make this rather grand philosophical claim. They call it the ontological game, the game of the self.
Mm-hmm. The ontological game.
That sounds incredibly profound, moving beyond psychology into philosophy almost. For our listeners, what exactly does ontological mean here? And how does a kid's game prepare us for grappling with these huge existential questions?
Right. To label it ontological means it's fundamental to the very nature of being, to existence itself. That core mechanism of hide and seek, that primal rhythm of appearing and disappearing, it's a direct intuitive engagement with what it means to exist, to be present, and then to be absent. It teaches us about the very essence of being, of having a self that persists, whether it's seen or unseen. This isn't just about understanding that, a toy still exists when you cover it with a blanket. It delves deeper into that intuitive comprehension that you as a conscious self continue to exist even when you're out of someone's sight or when you're not actively engaging.
So it's about the persistence of self.
Exactly. Philosophers forever, from ancient Greeks to modern existentialists like Heidegger or Sartre, have wrestled with this question of being and non-being, presence and absence. Hide and seek, even in its simplest form, acts as this foundational training ground. It prepares us for these complex existential questions later in life by instilling a fundamental certainty of our own irreducible being.
Wow. So the simple act of appearing and disappearing seems to carry just an incredible amount of weight.
It really does.
How does this basic action, understood through play, become such a vital lesson in understanding the world beyond just our own existence? How does it help us grasp the persistence of things we can't see?
Well, that rhythm of presence and absence, so central to the game, teaches us a critical lesson. Absence isn't necessarily non-existence.
Right. The hidden player still exists.
Exactly, even if they can't be immediately perceived. This foundational understanding is absolutely critical for navigating the complexities of the world, where so much of what is real and influential and significant isn't always immediately apparent or visible.
Oh, great.
Think about gravity pulling you to your chair right now, or the air you're breathing, magnetic fields guiding a compass. These are all invisible forces, but undeniably real and hugely impactful.
Okay, yeah.
The game instills that basic trust in the persistence of reality, even when it's out of sight. It helps us understand that what's unseen can still be profoundly influential, concrete. It prepares us to intuitively grasp abstract concepts, too. Things that lack physical presence but are definitely real, like emotions or social structures or economic forces.
And it's not just about simple existence, is it? Our sources state it also lays the groundwork for understanding what's illusory versus what's real.
Yes, that's another crucial layer.
How does a child's game lay the foundation for that kind of critical discernment? We rely on that constantly, from personal relationships to, I don't know, reading the news.
It's astonishing, isn't it, that such a simple activity could sow the earliest seeds for telling truth from deception.
Yeah.
Indeed, this is where the game really deepens its philosophical impact. Our sources are very clear. The intuitions from which the notions of what is illusory and what is real were developed are closely linked to this game.
Hmm.
Think about it. When you're hidden, you're not gone, but you're not visibly present either. The seeker knows you exist even if they can't see you.
Right.
This nuanced experience teaches us very early on that appearance isn't always reality, that there are often layers beyond immediate perception. It fosters a crucial, critical questioning of what's just presented to us. It's the first, most playful lesson in not taking things at face value.
Like learning not to trust a mirage on a hot road.
Yeah. Exactly like that. We learned early on not to implicitly trust all appearances. Our early experiences with hide and seek teach us that things can be deliberately hidden or simply deceptive or just a trick of perception. This innate ability to look beyond the immediate visual evidence, to infer deeper truth, and to question surface appearances. It's a fundamental building block for critical thinking, for discerning what's true from what's merely apparent throughout our entire lives.
It's the origin of skeptical inquiry in a playful way.
You could absolutely say that.
Okay, so this game is clearly about identity, memory, even the fundamental nature of reality. But then our sources make this really fascinating, almost unexpected leap to science.
Seems like a jump, doesn't it?
It does, a colossal jump from playing in the garden to decoding the universe. But the connections they draw are incredibly strong. How on earth does hide and seek prepare us for the rigorous, systematic process of scientific inquiry?
Well, what's utterly fascinating here is the direct, compelling parallel they draw between the game and the scientific process itself. Science, at its core, is fundamentally about the discovery of the laws of the universe.
Right.
And critically, as the sources say, those laws are not just at plain sight. They're often hidden, elusive, operating beneath the surface of what we can easily observe.
Okay.
Just like a hidden player, the fundamental truths, the mechanisms, the principles of the universe, they require persistent seeking, meticulous observation, innovative experiments, and often that intellectual courage to look far beyond the obvious. Scientists aren't content just accepting what they see, are they? They're driven to probe, to hypothesize, to design experiments carefully, to interpret data, all to uncover the hidden rules governing nature.
So it's a shared methodology.
Absolutely. Refusing to be satisfied with the surface level, actively searching for the underlying, often invisible principles. It's the ultimate game of discovery, where the universe is, in a sense, the player hiding its secrets, and humanity is the diligent seeker.
And our sources specifically mention understanding gravitation and the other physical laws as examples. That doesn't feel like just a casual illustration.
No, it's very deliberate.
It really speaks to that innate human drive to uncover what's hidden, doesn't it? To explain the invisible forces. The apple falls, yeah, we see that. But why? That why is the hidden player, isn't it? The unseen force that needed finding.
Indeed. The gravitation example is exceptionally potent. To truly understand something as fundamental as gravity, humanity absolutely had to go beyond appearances. The apple falling, that's the appearance, the observable phenomenon. But the underlying force of gravity, the hidden player in this cosmic game that needed to be found, and it took generations of observation, rigorous math, painstaking development of theory.
Right, Newton didn't just see the apple fall.
Exactly. And the intuition that propelled us in that direction, that inherent drive to look beyond the immediate, to deduce an unseen cause from its visible effects that's present in us from childhood, deeply fostered by this universal game. Think about how long humans watched the sun move across the sky. It took centuries of profound scientific inquiry at Copernicus, Kepler, Newton, to uncover the hidden laws of planetary motion and gravity that explained that apparent movement.
So science is full of finding hidden players based on clues.
Absolutely, deducing unseen forces or particles from their subtle effects. It's like finding a hidden player by hearing that faint rustle in the leaves or a muffled giggle even when you can't see them. It's ultimate detective work.
So this game isn't just teaching us about fun or social dynamics, but about a fundamental approach to knowledge itself, a core methodology for understanding the world.
It seems that way.
It sounds like a universal training ground for lifelong curiosity and complex problem solving.
That's a profound takeaway, isn't it? It raises this important question for all of us. How much of our inherent drive for knowledge, our curiosity, our capacity for critical thinking, how much actually stems from this early, playful engagement with what is hidden? The game instills in us the very intuition needed to question assumptions, challenge surface observations, and persistently search for underlying truths. It teaches us to distinguish, through experience, what's illusory from what's real in our pursuit of understanding.
It's like the scientific method in miniature.
In a way, yes. Forming a hypothesis about where someone might be hiding, systematically searching, gathering evidence clues, adjusting your strategy, and finally, that exhilaration of discovery. This foundational experience prepares us for a lifetime of inquiry and discovery. It nurtures that spirit of exploration that defines both personal growth and the advancement of all scientific knowledge.
Wow, it truly feels like we've covered an immense spectrum here, from, peekaboo in the crib to unlocking the deepest scientific principles of the universe, all centered around this one single game.
It's quite a journey the sources take us on.
So as we bring all these threads together, what does this all ultimately mean for us personally as the fundamental game of self-knowledge? It feels like we've come full circle back to ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's right. If we connect all these intricate dots, the sources essentially reveal hide and seek as perhaps the fundamental game of self-knowledge. It's not just about finding others in the garden. It's about the continuous, lifelong process of discovering and understanding ourselves. Through its universal dynamics, appearing, disappearing, revealing, concealing, it teaches us these profound lessons about our evolving identity, how we build and retrieve memories, how we tell reality from illusion, and even how we approach discovery in the wider world. And it's not a static lesson, is it? It reinforces the idea that the game provides this dynamic, ever-present framework for personal growth and understanding, a rich blueprint for that continuous unfolding journey of self-discovery throughout our entire lives.
We are, in essence, always playing hide and seek with our own potential.
That's a lovely way to put it.
So it sounds like understanding this game helps us understand our own ongoing processes, learning, growth, maybe even self-acceptance.
I think so.
It's almost as if we're always playing hide and seek with ourselves. Sometimes we're the eager seeker, sometimes we're the one hidden, waiting to be found, maybe even by ourselves.
That's beautifully put. It truly highlights that continuous process, doesn't it? Revealing and concealing aspects of ourselves and indeed of the world around us. It actively encourages critical thinking about what's just presented versus what truly lies beneath, whether that's in our personal lives, our relationships, or our broader pursuit of knowledge.
Right.
It teaches us to be both relentless seekers, but also sometimes to appreciate the value of what remains hidden, whether that's a latent talent waiting to be unearthed, an unresolved emotion needing gentle exploration, or a deeper truth about a situation that just requires patience to reveal itself. Like maybe take a moment to reflect. Think about times you might have felt hidden from yourself or others. Maybe you suppressed a passion, ignored a feeling, avoided a tough conversation. How did you eventually find a new aspect of your identity, rediscover a forgotten dream, arrive at a deeper understanding, bring it into the light?
Yeah.
That, in essence, is the lifelong, ongoing game of self-knowledge.
Wow, what an absolutely incredible deep dive, honestly. From something as seemingly simple, innocent even, as a children's game.
Yeah.
We've uncovered connections to the very formation of our identity, the construction of memories, that profound distinction between reality and illusion, and even the fundamental intuition behind scientific discovery.
It covers so much ground.
It's not just a game. It really
Yeah.
does feel like the play of the universe in action. A cosmic dance that, astonishingly, begins right there in the crib.
The underlying message couldn't be clearer, I think. The intuitions, the lessons fostered in early childhood play, especially hide and seek, they aren't just fleeting moments of fun. They are foundational, enduring lessons. for self-knowledge, for critical thinking, for navigating the world's hidden complexities. They equip us from our earliest days with this innate framework for exploring both the known and the vast unknown within ourselves and out there in the universe.
So as you go about your day, whether you're working on a complex project, thinking about a personal challenge, or just observing the world, consider this. In your own life, right now, what are you currently seeking with determination? Or maybe what parts of yourself, perhaps long forgotten, are still patiently waiting to be found?
Mm.
Perhaps the game of hide and seek isn't just for children after all, but a lifelong, enriching endeavor for every single one of us, a continuous journey of profound discovery. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.